Once your sponge is cooled, you can trim any edges you feel need trimming. I'm going to trim this one because my loaf tin was slanted, so I do have slanted edges at each side. So when you finish trimming, this is what you're aiming for. I've cut straight down the middle and then I've trimmed the ends off as well. So you've got these nice, perfect rectangles. Again, the cake is really tender, so handle it with care, and when you're cutting, be gentle and kind of hold the cake while you're cutting it as well to give it as much support as possible. So I just repeated the process with a vanilla sponge. I trimmed the ends, trimmed the sides, cut them all to equal size, and now I have the pieces ready for layering. So now we're going to roll the fondant, put it in between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper just to get it going. Press down with the rolling pin until it's spread out a little bit more, and then you'll find it easier to roll. So we're going to try and roll the fondant out to a rectangle as best we can. Try and keep it as tall as your pieces, and that will avoid wastage. And you can have the fondant as thick as you like. I did it a bit too thick in my picture, so I'm going to do it a little bit thinner this time, but it's totally up to you. I've rolled the fondant out to quite a large rectangle, and I've tried to keep it as close to the sort of length of the sponge as possible. Okay, then you're just going to spread Biscoff all over the fondant. 1 tablespoon would be a sparse amount, and 3 tablespoons would be quite a lot. So maybe about 2 tablespoons spread across would be a sort of medium amount. Put one of your sponge fingers down and very gently spread some Biscoff on one side. Then add one of the opposite sponges and stick it to that one using the Biscoff. And then very gently we're going to spread more Biscoff on the top of those. Just repeat the process, put the opposite colour on top, spread some Biscoff on the side, and then stick the opposite colour next to it. Okay, I can't really do this one-handed, but what you're going to do is, using the greaseproof sheet, you're going to lift and wrap the fondant around the cake, and then do the same with the other side. You might find that the two overlap, that's fine. Once it's wrapped in the greaseproof paper, you can pack it really tightly with your hands and then turn it over so the fold is on the bottom. So that side's on, so what I'm going to do is wrap it all in greaseproof and then sort of pack it in and tighten it up. Okay, so I've turned it over so the seam side is on the bottom, and I'm going to try and do this one-handed as if there was both hands, but I'm literally just like packing it in and keeping it close to the cake. My messy background. Then when you've done that, all you need to do is trim the ends, because you'll have some icing overhang and some sort of rough ends. Yeah, trim the ends and then you're good to go.